13.5 years, a trial court judge, 40 of 67 counties holding court, 12 years of court of criminal appeals, 4.5 years as Chief Justice. And during our time as Chief Justice, we did manage to, with total interbranch cooperation, juvenile justice reform, have reduced the number of kids in lockup by 60%, and juvenile arrest and juvenile crime has gone down. So it can be done, Judge Hill, can't it? It can be done. So let me quickly say that what I submitted, I want to preface by this, and I asked the group, and I wish there were more members here, but I understand it's December and it's busy, to remember that in the last 10 months, 13 inmates have been killed. 13 inmates have been murdered in the last 10 months. You can join 34 states together to get to 13 inmates. It takes 34 states. We have 9 times the number of homicides in our prisons that are reported. 22 individuals in 2 years died from overdoses from synthetic marijuana. So drugs are there. We know they're there. We've got to ferret them out of the system. So Commissioner Dunn, you have a thankless job. It's a thankless job. I appreciate the fact that you're doing it, and I don't want to hurt your feelings. But DOC has got to come forward with some bold steps, as indicated by the fact that in the last year, 6 officers above the rank of sergeant and 3 very high DOC officials were suspended, resigned, or retired, or arrested. And that is an indication of the corruption that's got to be ferreted out of the system. And I know you're working on it, but we've got to help you be able to do it. DOC has got to come forward with a bold plan on how to ferret out corruption and how to get rid of the drugs, and those things are combined. People are leaving Alabama prisons and they're more addicted today than when they entered our prisons. So I quickly mentioned the several things that I wanted to talk about. I don't have time. One of them, though, is got to be addressed, is upgrading and unifying community corrections. Representative Ingram, you know that right now probation revocations have jumped up dramatically. 1,200 per year was about what we saw with entering prison because of probation revocation. Now it's 4,500. I do believe that's because our judges are using community corrections, but the state has not invested in community corrections to the point where they have the programming, and particularly long-term, quality, low-cost drug rehabilitation, which is absolutely essential to making our prisons safer and reducing the population. We've already mentioned the mandatory standards for the DA diversion programs. There's a number of things like that that have got to be done. Retroactivity and mandatory supervision upon release, that needs to be done. It's about, I think, 400 people. But the cost of it is so high that a lot of people, once they get out, cannot manage it. We need to re-sentence the people that are there out of fairness, who were sentenced prior to the presumptive sentencing. Now, I want to focus my time specifically on 2 things. Please do these. Please do these things. Number 1, we had drug courts. I received the National Award for the largest increase in model drug courts. But drug courts are the best sentencing reform option, but they only really work if you have fidelity in the model, justice lines. We have got to have enough money, it doesn't take much, to secure training and accountability for the judges and the drug court teams so that they have fidelity to model. It is essential for our drug courts. We need to have courts of accountability in every county, and we need to go back to the model that we used when I was chief to ensure that we have drug courts of accountability, and we have accountability. The second thing that I want to mention is pardon paroles. Pardon paroles have basically, by their denial of hearings and their denial of parole, have basically eliminated all the gains that were made in the reduction of prison population. If you don't do anything else, please mandate guidelines that we will have objective standards for which pardon paroles can adhere to in the granting of parole. And I hope I have time to
Thank you very much.
answer your questions. Thank you.
Mark Wilkerson.
Justice, members of the study group, I appreciate the opportunity to come here. I'm here actually instead of Craig DeRoach, who's Vice President a policy for prison fellowship ministries, and the former Speaker of the Michigan House of Representatives, who has submitted a written summary of our proposals today. Individually, I'm an attorney in Montgomery, Alabama. I served on the board of Prison Fellowship for 10 years, and the last 3 as the chairman of its executive committee. So I'm very familiar with prison programs here and in the South. I was also the principal author in 1991 of the Community Correction and Punishment Act that Judge Cobb alluded to. That was a compromise bill. It was since improved, but needs much improvement to do exactly what Judge Cobb indicated, and that is to allow greater participation and greater funding of the state in the community correction programs to allow diversion to occur at that level. We know from prison fellowship that prison reform can be a bipartisan issue. We proved that in Washington with the First Step Act, with President Trump's leadership of Democrats and Republicans in Congress. Major efforts were made to make some of the reforms this group is looking at on a federal level. Obviously, more can be done. The issue of whether punishment fits the crime, the culture within prisons, and how to safely extend second chances have reached a critical point in Alabama. The Department of Justice has found that Alabama has one of the most overcrowded prison systems nationally, with the 4th highest imprisonment rate in the U.S. I have served on 2 of these study groups just like this, under Governor Hunt and Governor James. And the statistics are different, but the issues have not changed, generally, affecting the prison system. We were overcrowded then. We make efforts to improve the situation. Other circumstances arise that tend to pull that back, and we end up back where we are. We believe that this study group in this political environment can make a difference with your recommendations. In doing that, we would encourage you, in addition to the proposals that Judge Cobb and I think you will hear today, we encourage you to look at other states, what other states have done successfully. 2 in particular most recently. Louisiana adopted significant sentencing reform 2 years ago and are now beginning to see the results from that. They saved $12.2 million the first year in instituted reform, saved $17.8 million in 2009, with 70% of that reinvested in correction initiative and programs. Louisiana has seen the overall prison population decline by 9%, the community supervision population by 12%, and prison readmission for supervision revocations have dropped by 5%. As Justice Lyons indicated, 95% of people incarcerated nationally in state prisons will re-enter society. So the question is, will they be prepared to obtain employment, housing, and reconnect with families and friends and become productive taxpayers? There are several things closer to home that Alabama can do to ensure our justice system punishes but also restores. Rather than warehouse people, prisons should afford opportunities to make amends and earn back the public trust, fostering a constructive prison culture and successive upon relief. This includes a variety of programming available, including higher education. The programs at England State Technical College, for example, be committed and should be expanded in this age of online education to help prisoners obtain practical skills for jobs after release. While proportional punishment will require a minimum amount of prison time served in order to satisfy what is owed for the harm to the victim, a restorative approach may also allow for a portion of someone's sentence to be shortened when a prisoner can demonstrate that he or she has made a concerted effort to live positively and regain society's trust. As you approach these issues and form recommendations to the governor, we ask you to do so with a reverence to faith values, supported by data, and in a way that provides for safer communities, stronger families, and the opportunities for a second chance. And again, we appreciate the hard work that's being done by this committee. We appreciate Commissioner Dunn's commitment to these principles, which we know exist, and we stand ready to assist this body in any way we can. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Smalley.
Okay. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to this group, and unlike Judge Cobb and the last speaker, Mark Wilkerson, I'm nobody all that important, so I can go straight to the proposals. I appreciate Jonathan Hester from Governor Ivy's office for working so diligently to put this program together, and I really appreciate the audience and the packed house that's here, and all these yellow shirts that are regular, ordinary people who just are here to support those citizens who have made bad choices and ended up incarcerated, and now are being treated sometimes worse than the actions that caused them to be incarcerated. Two wrongs never make a right. Let me just start there. That's something my mother always said, and I found it to be true throughout my lifetime. My number one proposal is that body cameras should be worn by every employee at every prison from the moment they clock in until the moment they leave. This is one of the most widely supported proposals from within the prison. This would affect not only the behavior of the prisoners, but the behavior of the correction officers, and would allow for prompt and accurate consequences for inappropriate actions by correction officers towards prisoners. There are experts on this. I'm not one of them. One whose name I will mention is Dax Salmon, but they have testified in cases all over the country, and for those people who say, well, body cameras have some problems, they get turned off, blah, 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 blah. Here's my response to that. I can't fix the transmission of my car, but somebody can. And just because I can't personally do it, does not mean it's impossible. We need to look to other experts in other states and see what can be done.
That's right.
Correction officers need to face immediate and significant consequences for any and all violence committed to inmates. And assaults on prisoners should be punished swiftly, and reports to families of injuries to inmates should be made by prison officials immediately. Going a week or two without hearing from your loved one and hearing bits and pieces of rumors of their ribs being broken or their jaw being broken or haven't been taken to medical is preposterous. That must be corrected. The partisan parole situation in Alabama puts us in a position of being contumaciously, and I'm going to explain that word in a moment because I chose it carefully, in disrespect of the Department of Justice report. That means that Mr. Braddock has specifically stated he does not think it is a role of partisan parole to reduce the overcrowding, and he is incorrect. It specifically is one of the goals of partisan parole. I think that he is putting the state of Alabama at some extreme liability by re-litigating or republicizing the original crimes of persons who are up for partisan parole, because they've already been tried. We don't need double jeopardy. They have been tried, and the goal of parole is not to retry them, but to look at where they are now.
That's right.
What changes have they made? Are they ready to begin society? We need to release geriatric and terminally ill inmates. We need for ADOC records to be in a form that can be analyzed by statisticians easily, not charging $3,500 for statisticians. Yes, the physical facilities need to be addressed to some extent, but if they think, I don't care who it is, if they are going to spend $900 million building 3 new buildings, me and some of my friends that watch HGTV can help them out. Because that is ridiculous, unless you've got some brother-in-law or something that's going to be building them and making the extra bucks. I mean, that's preposterous. We can definitely get them in better shape on a lot less money for the taxpayer. One thing I will tell you is that if we simply stop hurting and killing inmates, we will save a lot of money, because right now, every one of those is a lawsuit right for the picking, and it's low-hanging fruit. And the inmates may not recover any money, but the lawyers that represent them do. And I can assure you that is quite a bit of savings that the state of Alabama could have if we just quit maiming and killing the inmates. Thank you.
We will now have a period of 5 minutes for any questions that members of the panel would like to pose to these 3 presenters. move to our next group, which deals with DOC, Department of Corrections Operations. The two speakers representing this group are Diane Caldwell with the Alabama Justice Initiative, and Courtney Davis, whose husband is currently incarcerated. Please come to the front. Diane Caldwell, the floor is yours for 5 minutes.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, as Ms. Molly said, I'm known as important except for the wife of a current inmate, and I represent Alabama Justice Initiative as well. My name is Diane Caldwell. My husband, his name is Cordarius Caldwell, and he's been incarcerated for about 15 years in ADLC. He's currently incarcerated at Elmore Corrections Facility, and I'm here today to give you a glimpse of what life is like married to someone incarcerated. Okay, so the times that we can't visit on our 6-hour journey, which will be 3 hours going from Pensacola, Florida, to 3 hours on our drive back. We have to rely on the 80-cent phone calls for 15 cents a minute, for 15-minute phone calls. We can usually get about 30 minutes in before someone else needs the phone, or, someone else is just too loud and belligerent for us to even hear over the phone. All of the cards that we do have, of course, are recorded. And it is incredibly hard to hear stories he tells me about life each day inside those walls. I know I've heard from some of them on the news and some of them in the report that are listed in the DOJ, but regardless of that, our conversations are pretty difficult. You guys speak a little nervous, so I'm rambling.
Speak a little closer to the microphone.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. So going back, like I said, regardless of how difficult the conversations are, I have to cherish each and every moment of those phone calls I get from my husband. It is the times that he doesn't call is what worries me the most. And that's very, very difficult. In October and November alone, there were at least 8 deaths not from natural causes in ADLC. Men who died by overdose, homicide, and suicide. Every single time I hear a news report of another stabbing, my heart drops tremendously. Each unconfirmed death is another family member out here waiting for a call, as Ms. Smalley brought up, or maybe not. Sometimes they don't even get phone calls. Each unconfirmed death, like I said, we're waiting on a phone call, and Ms. Cindy Davis never heard from any official at the ADLC after her son Stephen died. He was beaten to death by guards at Donaldson in October. The only call she got was from the chaplain to pass on his condolences, which should never happen. The constant anxiety, worry, and stress I feel from my husband every single day and night is enough to do anyone in. But that's only half of it. That's only half the emotional toll my husband's incarceration takes on my family. I've had a heart attack, worrying about what's going on inside of the ADLC. I've gained a lot of weight. It takes a toll physically and mentally on the family members that have someone in ADLC not knowing what's going on. And not only do we have the economical burden of the financing his incarceration through paying for phone calls, gas visits, commissaries. It's a countless of things that we have to pay for to keep them in there when they are already being paid. The taxpayers are already paying a fee to house them. I'm responsible for all our family's financial needs. When my husband gets out of prison, it's unlikely that this will get better quickly, since most employers require that people disclose their conviction history. It will be difficult for him to find a job. And as one of the members of the Fair Study Group right now pointed out, Alabama Department of Corrections does anything but correct. My husband and others like him do not have access to rehabilitative programs, the job training, the mental health programming, and the drug treatment that they will need to successfully be members of society when they re-enter. Instead, we lock them up and throw away the key, as Judge Craddock said. In no way to encourage success. We as the state have chosen to set my husband up for failure. And when we do that, the incentive do incarcerated people have to be successful. What incentive do they have to be successful? When we cut them off from their families, provide them with no programming, refuse to give them a good time, don't focus on rehabilitation, and allow our prisons to descend into chaos and violence, I encourage each one of you to look inside yourselves and consider for a moment what might it look like to reimagine our justice system in Alabama.
Amen.
Courtney Davis.
Thank you for having me. I am most definitely not a public speaker, so I am going to read straight from my testimony. Good morning. My name is Courtney Davis. I'm the mother of a 16-year-old daughter that I homeschool. I have a great job in property management, lead several small groups at my church, attend the evening program at Highlands College, and I'm the wife of David Davis, who is incarcerated at Bibb County Correctional Facility. I tell you all of this so you know a little bit about me before I open up about the experience we have had in our journey under the subpar care of the Alabama Department of Corrections. To give you a little backstory of how we ended up here, David was in a car accident on June 11, 2018, while under the influence of heroin. He was in a head-on collision about a mile from our then home in St. Clair County. Sadly, a passenger in the other vehicle passed away. David was critically injured and almost lost his life as well. He was taken to UAB, where he underwent emergency surgery to remove part of his colon. The seatbelt had severed his intestines, and he had a torn artery in his neck. He stayed in the trauma unit at UAB for almost a month, where he underwent 2 more surgeries for infections in his abdomen. Upon his release from UAB, he was sent home with a wound vac and supplies for me and the home health care nurses to pack his open incisions. David was in unimaginable pain pretty much all of the time and unable to do simple physical activities. If it involved more than just walking, he couldn't do it. He became extremely depressed and even talked to suicide. 6 months after his wreck, and a week after seeing his primary care doctor about setting up an appointment with a psychologist, David was arrested for murder. He was held on a $500,000 bond, and St. Clair County decided to charge my husband with murder instead of vehicular homicide. They knew the charges wouldn't stick, but because David had priors from his early 20s, they knew he would have to plead down to manslaughter, and that they would give him the maximum sentence. That is exactly what Judge C did. He gave him 20 years with no split, and told us that if we took it to trial and lost, he would give David life in prison. David was in a car accident as a result of an addiction he battled with almost his entire adult life. That doesn't make him a bad person. While in custody of St. Clair County, David was seen by 3 different doctors after large hernias emerged in his abdomen. Not because the county cared, but because I was persistent. Each doctor and surgeon said the same thing: he needs surgery. His condition is not something that will get better, only worse. The medical provider at the jail even put David on a second blood pressure pill in order to mask the distress he was under. After denying our continuance, Judge C said that if David would have to sign the plea deal if he was going to take it, but that he would agree to hold off on sentencing until David could get the surgery he desperately needed. But that didn't happen. David signed the plea deal, was taken to a consultation at UAB with a surgeon, and then with no explanation or warning, Judge C moved up his sentencing a month early and shipped him off to Kilby within 3 days. While in the prison with the Alabama Department of Corrections, my husband has been ignored, he has been denied medical care, and he has been put in harm's way by the staff who was supposed to help rehabilitate him. David has very large hernias as well as an obstruction. His abdominal wall is completely torn, which means that he has nothing in front of or holding in his hernias or intestines. David, who is usually in an extra large, is in a 3X in order to accommodate his ever-growing abdomen. He's been told by the prison infirmary staff that we don't have your medical records yet, or you're just bloated from being constipated. He is given stool softeners daily along with his blood pressure pills. If he puts in a sick call, he is given milk of magnesia and Tylenol and then sent back to his dorm. And that's if he actually gets to go. David has missed appointments because there isn't enough staff. There isn't a staff member available to go get my husband and take him to the infirmary. David stays constipated because his bowels are restricted. He can't stand or lean over for too long because of the pressure on his abdomen, and he can't lay on his back for too long because the hernias will push into his lungs. The skin on his abdomen stretches and splits open. He is extremely uncomfortable and finds it hard to breathe. Just to name a few of the symptoms he lives with daily. His condition has also caused unnecessary security issues for him in the prison. He's been stopped several times by employees of the correctional facility wanting to know what contraband David has under his shirt. While leaving Chow Hall 2 months ago, David was hit in the stomach by Sergeant Dent on the 13th. After David was able to compose himself and lift his shirt, Sergeant Dent's response was, "I didn't hit you that hard." I called the prison to report it, but no one ever talked to David about the incident. If I'm correct, in the real world, the sergeant would have been charged with battery. I reached out to an investigative reporter who wrote an eye-opening piece about my husband's serious medical issues and lack of care he's received while in the custody of Alabama Department of Corrections. At the last study group on November 1st, I approached Judge C and Commissioner Dunn. Judge C said they didn't recall my husband, but the look on his face said otherwise. Commissioner Dunn promised me an invite to Bibb County Correctional Facility to sit down with my husband and a healthcare provider, but that hasn't happened yet. I've also spoken with Ruth Miglage about David, and he was finally taken to OB for a consultation on November 5th. We're still waiting for the next step, which needs to be surgery, but we don't know if it will happen.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions for the presenters?
Yes, sir. To the lady that just spoke, do you have any idea of when you can, expect to have the sit down with your husband and Commissioner Dunn?
I do not, I have not heard from anybody. I reached out to Ruth Miglage and she has yet to respond to my email.
Surely after today we'll hear.
Ms. Davis, I appreciate you being here, and I know we've corresponded a couple times, and, I need to confirm with you, I guess, that your husband is scheduled for surgery on December 11th?
I haven't heard that, so
Okay,
that's
well, he has been made aware of that. He knows that he has surgery scheduled on the 11th, and,
as of yesterday, he didn't know that.
Any other questions? First, did you have a question?
Turn down the mic. Mike.
I know you only have 5 minutes, but you look like you have like a little bit more to go.
I did.
Can you finish?
Thank you. I will continue to call, text, email, and show up at places like this in order to fight for my husband's life. And then I'll continue doing so for others, because not everyone has a Courtney at home who has promised to love and honor them through sickness and health, for better or for worse. And although it shouldn't take an article being published or a life-threatening condition that is now to the point of potentially being irreversible to finally get someone's attention, that's apparently exactly what it takes. I cannot imagine my heart being in such a condition that it does not allow for me to care about the very one that Jesus gave his own life to save. He came for the lost. Everyone has a name, everyone has a story, and everyone matters to God. Just because you have a different title or position in life, in the eyes of God, you're no more important than my husband sitting in inhumane conditions at Bibb County Corrections.
Amen.
People always assume this could never happen to them, or it doesn't matter because it's not their loved one in prison. Do the crime, pay the time, or that's just karma doing its job. I'm here to tell you that it most certainly can happen to you. My husband was impaired because of drugs, but it could be your husband leaving a football party after a few beers, your daughter leaving a college party after her first drink, your wife applying her makeup while driving, or your son sending that one text. Your family is human just like mine, and humans make mistakes. I promise you, you feel a lot differently about those people in prison if those were your people.
That's right.
In conclusion, I hope hearing about my husband's suffering and lack of care helps illustrate the clear fact that the Alabama Department of Corrections is so understaffed and dysfunctional it cannot adequately provide medical care for the people in custody. New prisons will not solve this problem.
Ms. Caldwell as well. I know those two stories and what you're dealing with are very difficult things to discuss in public. But, I want to, for me personally, and I think I speak for everyone, continue your advocacy, continue encouraging people to make these stories, to tell these stories. Because, you don't want people in charge to pretend like we're unaware of what's actually going on inside our facility, okay? So, again, I appreciate both of you coming, sharing your stories. I know it's difficult, but we definitely need to hear them. And, if I can act as, and any other legislator who represents your area can act as an advocate for you, continue to let them know what's going on.
I have a question for Ms. Caldwell. You referred to people emerging from prison with drug addiction. I took from that there are drugs available to inmates during their incarceration. Could you please, what is your understanding of how that happens?
He just said it's his understanding, based on her testimony, that people leave prison addicted to drugs who weren't addicted to drugs when they got there. That's a surprise.
You have no information as to how the drugs get into the prison. What, corrupt officers, is that what you said?
There it is. There it is.
Now, our next group will deal with sentencing. And we will hear from Albert Pugh, who was formerly incarcerated under the Habitual Felony Offender Act, and is now the Director for Reentry Services with Boundary Ministries. And we will also hear from criminal defense attorney Michael Hanley. Mr. Pugh.
Good morning. My name is Albert Pugh. I'm 64 years old, and I served over 30 years in the Alabama prison system.
If you move the mic up just a little, so everybody can hear you.
I'd like to share my experience with you and why I believe the habitual offender law is keeping many people in prison for too long, and why many others from life sentences deserve a second chance like I was given.
Amen.
By the time I was 22, I'd lost hope for the future and had a long list of convictions, 4 or 5 car theft cases, burglary, drug sales, robbery. I was considered an habitual offender. In May of 1983, I was 28 years old and sentenced for 2 robbery cases and given 2 life without parole sentences. At this point, I was angry and